Welcome back to Red Devils Arena, your home for the latest Manchester United news, transfer updates, and deep analysis. Today's biggest story, Marcus Rashford's prospects of forcing his way back into the Manchester United first team have received a significant boost after one of his longest-standing teammates publicly voiced support for his return. The 28-year-old is expected to report back to Old Trafford later this summer following an impressive loan stint at Barcelona. The England international enjoyed one of the finest campaigns of his recent career in Spain, playing a key role in helping the Catalan club clinch La Liga while contributing 14 goals and 14 assists across all competitions. Barcelona had been widely tipped to pursue a permanent arrangement, but instead chose to splash £70 million on Newcastle United winger Anthony Gordon, leaving Rashford's long-term future shrouded in uncertainty. The academy product's standing at United deteriorated under former manager Ruben Amorim, who cast him aside after the forward openly admitted he was ready for a new challenge, away from the club he has supported since childhood. However, Harry Maguire believes Rashford is deserving of the opportunity to make a fresh start under new permanent head coach Michael Carrick. Asked whether he and his fellow squad members would welcome Rashford back wholeheartedly, the United defender told "The Rest is Football," "Yeah, of course. I have an amazing relationship with Marcus and have had some great times with him over the years. I know what a wonderful player he can be. I'm sure it's up to the club and up to Marcus to find a mutual agreement. Of course, if Marcus does come back, we want him to come back and play and be happy and confident. It needs to be right for himself. It needs to be right for the club. But everyone knows what a great player Marcus can be for whatever club he plays for next season." Maguire's position stands in marked opposition to that of United icon Paul Scholes, who previously called on his former side to banish Rashford following his contentious comments. "I think Marcus has let a lot of people down really with his attitude, and I think that's what the manager is trying to say," Scholes told the Overlap fan debate. "Okay, he's not refusing to play, but in the way he's behaving and the way he's training, in a way he is saying, I don't want to be involved with these. So I think the fact of letting your teammates down in that dressing room, he should be banished from the dressing room, really. If he's in and around that and young people are seeing that as an example, the sooner he's gone, the better." Rashford's notorious remarks reportedly infuriated a number of United squad members, especially given they emerged merely days after the club secured a memorable derby triumph over Manchester City in December 2024. "Some of the players are really annoyed at what Marcus said and why he chose to say it at the time," a source close to the squad told The Sun. "They were all buzzing after beating City, and then he basically put in a transfer request after being dropped for one game." The Manchester-born star still has 2 years remaining on his reported £325,000 per week deal and is anticipated to return to Old Trafford following England's World Cup campaign. Winning the window doesn't always equate to on-field success, although there might be those of a Manchester United persuasion starting to feel a little uneasy about the lack of progress made on the recruitment front. Winning the window doesn't always equate to on-field success, although there might be those of a Manchester United persuasion starting to feel a little uneasy about the lack of progress made on the recruitment front. July is here, and United's squad has been weakened rather than strengthened, with Casemiro departing following the expiry of his contract, while Manuel Ugarte is set to be sidelined for an extended period. There are no secrets either when it comes to transfers these days, with Ineos perhaps left a little red-faced after seeing both Elliot Anderson and Mateus Fernandes agree moves elsewhere. Maybe this is all merely part of the plan, with new signings set to arrive later down the line. That said, with pre-season on the horizon and the new campaign just over a month away, that feeling of desperation and dread is beginning to set in. Man United begin work to sign Mateus Fernandes' alternative. And so, despite the presence of United, Real Madrid and Paris Saint-Germain, it is Tottenham Hotspur who have won the race for the aforementioned Fernandes, the 21-year-old set to join the Lily Whites on a club record £85 million deal. The Portuguese playmaker had been Ineos' leading target after the failure to land Anderson, yet the club will now have to pivot to alternative options amid this ongoing midfield hunt. One name that has been mentioned in Germany's Felix Mecca, with the Borussia Dortmund man well known to Jason Wilcox due to the Englishman's prior work at Manchester City. The priority still appears to be Premier League-proven additions, however, with journalist Ben Jacobs outlining that attention might now have shifted toward Bournemouth's Alex Scott. United are believed to already be exploring a deal for the 22-year-old, following Fernandes' decision to join Spurs. The Cherries are hoping to tie the Guernsey-born playmaker down to a new deal, however, and are even open to including a release clause within it, having valued the youngster at around £80 million. United will also have to contend with the presence of rival suitors, namely Arsenal, alongside Manchester City, Chelsea and Spurs, with the Premier League elite lining up to sign one of Anderson's best mates, as noted by journalist Nathan Salt. Why Scott's signing could be perfect for Bruno Fernandes. If there is to be one positive, it is that, unlike last year, there haven't yet been any rumblings regarding the future of the skipper, the expectation being that Bruno Fernandes will pen an extension at Old Trafford. Now on World Cup duty with Portugal, the 31-year-old is fresh off a stellar individual season in Manchester, having broken the Premier League assist record for the most recorded in a single campaign. Even after 6.5 years at the club, Fernandes remains the central figure in this side, the man that Michael Carrick will again build his team around next season. What Carrick and co do need to ensure is that there is quality alongside him, with Kobbie Mainoo and the aforementioned Scott, two classy ball-playing midfielders who could link up nicely with the former Sporting CP star. Speaking in 2021, Fernandes quipped how he almost wished United had a player of Carrick's quality in the squad, highlighting how the Englishman's passing prowess was a class above when joining in training sessions while working as a first-team coach. The captain hasn't ever truly been able to work ahead of a settled, functioning midfield, with the oft-maligned McFred partnership not exactly providing that real sense of security and composure in possession, as Fernandes himself alluded to above. That could be where Scott makes the difference. The former England U21 international, such a balletic, graceful midfielder who can control proceedings in the centre of the park, almost Paul Scholes-like in the manner in which he dictates the tempo from deep. Against United at the Vitality Stadium earlier this year, Scott was masterful in that action-packed 2-2 draw, notably recording more accurate passes than any other player on the pitch, while also ranking joint second for key passes made. At 22, the former Bristol City man isn't yet the finished article, but there's already so much to like about his game, not least his willingness to get forward and aid the teammates ahead of him. Indeed, among midfielders in Europe's top 5 leagues last season, Scott ranked in the top 15% for progressive carries per 90, as well as in the top 7% for deep carries, suggesting he could be the man to link play with Fernandes when bombing forward. What is also to like is what he offers defensively too, not afraid to put his foot in like Fernandes and company. For instance, the Bournemouth starlet ranks in the top 10% for box clearances and the top 15% for recoveries, highlighting what he brings to the table out of possession. So often, Fernandes has been part of a United midfield that has been left exposed and cut open, rarely ever able to gain any sense of control. Bringing Scott into the midfield ranks could well shift the dynamic, with the failure to sign Spurs' new £85 million man potentially set to prove a blessing in disguise at Old Trafford. Manchester United are not only looking to bolster their midfield options this summer, with a new left winger also being looked at for the transfer window. Jadon Sancho has officially left after his contract expired, while Alejandro Garnacho and Rasmus Højlund have departed permanently, leaving the club short of options in attack for the new season. Marcus Rashford is now an option to return to the first-team fold after Barcelona opted against making his loan permanent, but there are still options being looked at. One of those is understood to be West Ham star Crescencio Somerville, but the club are also looking at alternatives, including one League One sensation. According to Sky Sports, Lille star Matias Fernandes-Pardo has emerged as a potential target for Man United as they look to bolster their forward options. Fernandes-Pardo, who has been described as one of the most promising forwards in Europe, enjoyed a fine breakout season in League One in the 2025/26 season as he scored 8 goals and registered 6 assists in all competitions. The 21-year-old is capable of playing on both wings and also as a number 10, and Man United have identified the youngster as a potential option to come in and strengthen their forward line as they prepare to enter the Champions League following their third-placed finish in the Premier League. While there has been no formal contact or approach yet, United are alert to market opportunities at either left wing or left back, with a belief that Patrick Dorgu is capable of playing in both positions if needed. Fernandes-Pardo has also attracted the attention of clubs like Newcastle and Aston Villa this summer, but Lille are understood to be holding out for a big fee for their star forward as they look to keep hold of him for at least another campaign. Carrick has made it abundantly clear that if it were up to him, a new left winger would be coming into the squad this summer. The potential return of Rashford has potentially lessened that need for an immediate starter to come in, but he can't and won't play every game, while it's fair to say that Dorgu and Matheus Cunha are both at their best in different roles. Adding Fernandes-Pardo to the squad would provide quality depth and competition for the attacking positions, and his versatility means he'd be a welcome addition at Old Trafford for the right price too. The Cherries have continued to develop top-class talent in recent years. After enjoying a stellar campaign last term by qualifying for next season's Europa League, several of their players have attracted interest from some of Europe's biggest clubs. Alex Scott, Rayan, Adrian Truffert and Eli Junior Krupi are among those in demand. BBC Sport report that after failing to sign Mateus Fernandes, Man United turned their attention to Scott. However, Bournemouth have no intention of letting him leave this summer. As a result, the Red Devils have shifted their focus to another Bournemouth star, Adams, and could make a concrete approach to secure his signature in the coming weeks. Like Scott, Adams' existing deal is also set to run until 2028. Therefore, the Cherries aren't in any rush to sell him this summer, with the player valued at around £21 million by Transfermarkt. The reports state that apart from the USA international, Brighton and Hove Albion star Carlos Baleba and Borussia Dortmund's Felix Nmecha are also on United's wish list to bolster the midfield. Adams is a robust defensive midfielder by trait, but can provide cover in the box-to-box role if needed. He is quick, strong, tidy in possession, reads the game well, and is efficient in defensive contributions. Since moving to Vitality Stadium from Leeds United in 2023, Adams has established himself as an undisputed starter, but he has had fitness problems. In 25 Premier League appearances, the midfielder made 4 goal contributions last term. He even scored against Manchester City. After proving his worth in club football, he has secured his place in the USA national team's starting lineup. Despite his recent fitness problems, the 27-year-old is a Premier League proven player and is currently at the prime stage of his career. So he might be a shrewd acquisition for Man United should they purchase him for a reasonable price. However, it is going to be interesting to see whether the Old Trafford club eventually make a concrete approach to secure his services before the start of next season. Like the video. Subscribe. Share it with every United fan. This has been Red Devils Arena.